my little foam things. They're really strong, very dense foam, which I really like. Especially good in the morning if it's hard on your hips to come to a full seat on the floor. Don't ever push yourself. I just feel like pushing ourselves too hard, not being able to breathe, having pain is not yoga. Okay. So I don't care what anybody says. Anyway, so if you've just entered and I see a couple more people have, please go ahead and mute yourselves. And so let's start. You could be seated like this. You could be seated on your chair. You could be seated with blocks under your knees. So whatever you need. And we're going to start with our ball. So go ahead and grab a ball and just say hello to our hands. Okay. So the hands, I've been listening to everybody talk, and it's so wonderful. So many of you are in different ways, and I know you use your hands a lot. Okay, so definitely working with a ball is so good for the hands, just like the feet. And go ahead and spread yours quite a bit, and just focus on one palm and try to press and roll that ball from the wrist up between each finger, because those are the tendinous areas that really need a little extra. You could also, and I'm showing, you could have the back of your hand on your leg and do it like this, which will give you a little more intent too. So you decide, and then switch to the other hand. My right hand tends to be definitely tighter, and I have some discomfort in my thumb for all the years of doing body work, and not to mention also yoga, always having your hands on the floor, things like that, and then being a potter. And then let's come back to center, and I've got the ball between both hands right at the palm, and I'm just going to clasp. Okay, and on an inhale, lift up, try to bring your elbows towards each other. And on the exhale, round in and really tuck your chin and pull your navel in. And then inhale back up. No sharp pain here. Exhale, round in. So we're talking to our mid back. Again, reach up. This is that place, especially for women, and round in. And then let's come back to center. And I'm going to drop my arms to one side and my ear towards that opposite shoulder, or that same side shoulder, and then the opposite. So if you need to take a peek in your screen, remember to put me on speaker view so you can see me larger. And try not to hurt yourself doing these, but these are so good for your neck and your jaw. And then come back to center. So now from here, on an inhale, reach up really tall. And this time as you exhale, watch how I press in and really lift my elbows out, and I'm really pushing in. And again, inhale up, exhale, come back to center and really press that ball. Two more. Inhale up and press in. We're working into all the muscles of the chest and arms. And one more time. And then back to center. Now, let's come back. Let's keep that ball there. Do your best. And then do circles. So I've got my elbows touching, but it took a while to get to that. So don't force it. And then other direction. This is for that whole shoulder rotator cuff. And let that go. Okay, put the ball down for a moment. Fingertips are touching the floor, the mat. Now, inhale, lift your shoulders. And as you exhale, roll them back and down. And again, inhale, lift and roll back and down. And let's do a few more. Take your time with it. So I noticed that my left shoulder rolls much more easily than my right. And I'm just being with that. Let's do one more. Oh yeah. Okay. Woo. Then my left fingertips are down. I inhale up with my right arm. And as I exhale, I reach down to the left. And then inhale up way tall. Exhale, side. Take your time here. Make it a side bend again. Inhale up. Exhale to the side. And we're going to do 3 more. So here we go. Try to really reach. This is for that rib cage. And then let's do 1 more time. Take it over. Now come up with both arms up, palms face forward. Take an inhale. Inhale. Really squeeze the belly in. Inhale. Just 2 more. Oh yeah. And then reach back, fingertips down behind you, and let's reach out those legs. Oh yeah. Press out and look at your feet. Can you spread your toes? Can you keep them spread as you press one foot bottom and then the other? This really helps create the arch, especially as we age. Our arches start to drop and then recross opposite. Okay, so get back on your lift, or if you feel comfortable, right on the floor, whatever it is, looks good. And let's pick up that ball again. Let's take it over to the left shoulder. Lift up that shoulder, drop the side of the head and squeeze that ball. Oh yeah. And then go ahead and roll your head forward and back. You decide how much squeeze you're doing here, but I find that if I let my mouth hang open a little and really let my eyes be heavy, I can get a deeper release in my neck. A lot of tension there. Oh my gosh. And then come back up. This heavy head, right? Other side. Oh, yeah. And as you're ready, you're rolling forward and back. Always recognizing your limits for the day, right? They change. Oh, yeah. This side just needs more love, more love. And then come back up. Oh. So I'm going to put that ball down. I'm sitting up as tall as I can, one hand each leg. Now, as tall as I can sit, I'm going to drop just the chin. And then roll your head to one side. Really stretch that front of the neck. And then drop the chin again and roll to the other side. And let's do one more set, saying good morning to this wonderful neck that holds the brain, the head, the central nervous system. And then let's drop the chin forward and just slowly lift up that head. And you might feel a little dizzy from that. There's a lot of tension in there. Let's take our palms together. Happy Monday, right? Here we go. Inhale, reach up tall. And again, inhale up. And one more time. It's great to see you all lifting your arms. And a moment here, a moment of gratitude. There is gratitude to wake up. Those of you in Tucson today, it is such a lovely morning, so crisp, so beautiful. Wherever you are, find that gratitude. And we'll release those arms. If you're sitting up on something, remove it. And I'm going to take this way over here. And then take your legs out in front of you. We're trying to sit up nice and tall. So if sitting up really tall without a lift makes you round your back behind you, then put that lift back, please. Maybe just part of it. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. So I'm trying my hardest to sit really tall. That means I'm sitting on the forward of my sits bones, which can be hard to do. And I'm walking my knees, one and the other. And I'm also working my feet, pressing one foot and then the other foot. Oh, yeah. Okay. And then from here, bend your knees, feet flat, feet super wide apart, lean back a bit, and let's do some windshield wipers. So we're just saying good morning here. We're just beginning our practice. So don't overly push it, especially if you've got one hip that's kind of bothering you. Instead, use this as more of an exploration, just noticing. And then come back to center. Bring the feet in a little closer to each other. One hand each knee. Here we go. Exhale, round. Inhale, belly first, then your chest, and then your throat. And exhale, round. And again, belly, chest, throat. And rounding. These are so good, especially if you've got some travel planned, and I know some of you do. These are really good to do, taking little breaks and do a few of these, even standing or seated in a chair. And then come back to center. Keep your feet where they are. Take one palm down each side. Make sure that chest feels open. And then here we go. Inhale, lift to tail, exhale down. Now, as we do the next one, use your butt muscles to lift you. Lift up, use those butt muscles. We want to activate them and come down. Let's do one more like that. Hold and breathe. And come back down. And let's straighten out the left leg, pull in the right foot, and sit up as tall as you can. So I use my arms here to try to really feel my spine lengthening, okay? Then start to turn to your right, grab that knee, that leg, and create your rotation. Take a deep inhale, really lifting the spine, and as you exhale, rotate from deep down in the hips and the belly. Take another inhale, and see if you can rotate a little bit more. Remember, be kind to your neck. Nice deep breaths here. And unwind. Unwind, unwind. We're going to stay on this side. So let's go ahead and either grab under the foot, and so many of you can get that now, or your ankle, either way. And let's lift just the lower leg. So if you take a peek at me, you'll see that I'm trying to stay really tall with my spine, and I'm trying to push my thigh into my chest. Okay, that's hard to do. And then pull the belly in a little tighter and see if you can start to straighten that lower leg. Little bits at a time. Use your breath. And drop back down. And let's just release those knees again. One knee, the other knee. That feels really good. Okay, now, either you're going to do another table pose like we're beginning, or we're going to reverse plank. Legs together, palms down, shoulders back. Here we go. Lift up, hold there and breathe. See if you're in the reverse plank, if you can keep your big toes together. Challenging to do. Lift up higher. And come back down. And let's rest forward for a moment. Just take your time. Okay, now from here, let's go to the other side. So I'm pulling in my right heel. Other heel. My left heel, sorry. And I'm going to start to make that rotation. Okay, the inhale is a lift. The exhale, you go deep in the lower part of the spine. You try to get another really deep breath in and see if you can work into your rib cage. And then hold there and breathe. Talking to that belly center, the land of lustrous gemstones, the third chakra. We want to destagnate that area and come back to center. Oh, I really needed that. Okay, so now either hold on to the foot or the ankle, lift that leg, just part, because we want to try to really lift the spine here. We're taking our time, we're just beginning. And then if you can, start to straighten that lower leg, little bits at a time, gaze up. Those of you who can get even deeper can start to bring your forehead towards that knee. Oh yeah. And release. And let's take the legs down again and just kind of walk one knee. Really press your foot down towards the floor and the other knee. All right. Another table pose or reverse plank. So now, those of you who are doing reverse plank, spread your toes. Keep them spread. And then here we go. Lift up. Hold and breathe. And come back down. Okay, I'm going to turn back to face forward to face you all, because we're going to do a few more things and then come onto our backs. So I've got my feet in a little more again. I've got one hand just under each knee. As you exhale, round back. And as you inhale, belly first, then chest, then throat, and exhale, round back. So continue here. We'll do a few more. So these are so important not to rush. These will actually make huge changes in your mid to upper back if you really work with those muscles. Let's take one more. Oh yeah. Okay. Now from here, I'm going to lengthen out my right leg and have it at a bit of an angle. Okay. And then I'm going to fold in my left foot. So you've got choices, and I've got my strap. Okay. The choices, no problems at all in your low back or hips. Put that left foot way up high towards the groin. Okay. Any issues, bring it down by the knee. Okay. That will help to keep your pelvis kind of straight. You can also bend your right knee. So those are some of the things, right? And then put the strap elastic around that right foot, because what we want to do is we want to coax this right foot to really pull towards your face. If you're using the elastic, you can choke in a little and then bend your elbows a bit, because that'll help strengthen your arms. And we all could use some of that, right? Take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, a straight spine just halfway. Hold and breathe. It's as though you could take your nose ahead of your foot. And I'm not rounding my upper back. And then inhale, part way up. Exhale, come down deeper. You're coming forward and down. Hold and breathe. Try not to round your back as yet. And then inhale up again. You can always choke in on that strap. Exhale, now come down deep. Here you could tuck your chin, forehead towards your knee. Use your breath. Then come back halfway up again and see if you can take the strap just in the right hand, okay? And then bend that right elbow and start to turn your chest open towards the left. So we've got a partial side bend here, but if you're able to lift the left arm up, lift it up tall, and then some of you can even take that left arm over the side of the head towards the right foot. Now, no pain here, but definitely a very deep stretch into that low back and hip. Everybody take an exhale and pull the belly in deeper. Chin is tucked. and then come back up. Get a hold of that strap again with both hands. Choke in more if you can. Take an inhale. Exhale, come down really deep now. Hold and breathe. So you could, every inhale, lift a tiny bit, and every exhale, settle back in. Remember to keep your knees slightly bent, especially if you're super tight in the hammies. And release that strap. Come back up. Oh yeah. Take your left palm down to the side and come up into half circle pose. I love this pose. So those of you who want a little more juju, lift that right leg. A little more challenging. Really keep that chest nice and open. And then come back down. Oh yeah. And let's bring those legs forward and let's walk them again. Really work your ankles. Work those ankles. Keep the toes spread, pushing one set down and then the other. That feels really good. Okay, other side. We have another side, don't we? Let's take that left leg out at an angle. Pull in the right foot. Now you decide. One might be different as to where you put this right foot, okay? For a while, I was really tight in this hip, and so I wasn't putting it way up at my groin. I take every day as a new day. So now find that place on the elastic or strap, and your palms are facing upwards, okay? And then on the inhale, come up really tall with the spine. And as you exhale, just come part way. Even though you can come deeper, just part way, because I want you to really feel the pulling of the elbows in and the reaching of the chest. This is the true pose here, Janu Shavasana. Then inhale up again and exhale, come down deeper, but not all the way, still with a straight spine. Taking some breath. Then one last time, you can choke in more if you want. And this time, come down to your depths, tuck your chin, forehead towards your knee, head to knee pose. Use those inhales to expand the back body, the exhales to drop in. So even though we're in this forward bend, we are not letting go of the deep tone of the belly muscles. We're really working with them. Then come part way up, put the strap just in your left hand. Start to turn your torso open. If you're able to, lift your right arm and then come down towards the side there, towards the left side. It might be different. For me, it's a little tighter, but I'm going to work on opening my chest more. You could certainly try to grab those toes. I know several of you can, but the real goal here is to feel that whole side of the body stretching, that right side. And then come back up, turn forward, and drop in deep. Really work the breath into the back body. And come back up. Let's put those straps down, but keep them near your mat. Right palm down. Here we go. Half circle. Half circle. You advance it if you want. Otherwise, hold there any way you can. Don't tip your head way back. Tuck your chin. Nice deep breaths. And come back down. Oh, yeah. Let's get those legs forward again. Let's walk them. One knee, the other knee. Roll those shoulders. That feels good. Okay, we have one more thing, but before we do it, we're going to bring our legs together again if you're doing reverse plank, or prepare for table. Okay, and here we go. Come on in. Open up. Reach your throat up to the ceiling. Feel the power of your back body. So many people forget and then come down. forget about their back body until it starts to hurt them, right? And let's bring our feet in and just rest a moment here. Just rest, because we're coming into Uppa Vista Konasana, a very powerful pose. You could come up on a little bit of a lift if it's helpful, and we're gonna open up our legs wide. I'm even gonna bring my block in to show you how you can use a block. Now, if there's a lot of tightness in your hammies, please bend your knees a little bit. Try to keep your kneecaps up towards the ceiling. That's the tricky part. And I scooch my butt cheeks out behind me because we're actually trying to work deeper into the bottom of the pelvic floor. Oh yeah. So now, with this pose, on an exhale, try to keep a pretty straight spine and come forward just a little bit, just breathing. So I've got my palms down, but I could have my block here and rest my forearms. If you're able to, while keeping your kneecaps upright, you could come down deeper. You could bring your forearms down or adjust the block to help you. Use the breath here. We want to try to feel equal in the upper inner thighs. One more deep exhale, so you can come down a little more. And then I'm going to walk my torso towards the left. Nice deep breaths here. Remember, you could always lift your right hip a little bit. We don't want to hurt it. See if you can come down deeper. And then some of you like to do a rotation. Go ahead if you want to. So these wide leg poses are so yummy, so wonderful for the midline of the body and working into the diaphragms of the body. And the pelvis is one of those diaphragms. And then come back over that leg. And let's come slowly back to center, just kind of check in. And then to other side. So you might say, gee, you know, I haven't done this pose in a while and I'm feeling more tighter than usual. I am too, actually. And this morning while I was laying in bed, I thought, we're going to do this pose today. And if you want to, go ahead and rotate on the side. And I'm just enjoying it for where I am right now. So remember, yoga is a practice. There really is no end point. Here in the West, we all, you know, want that perfect yoga journal, whatever pose, but really there's no end point. It's endless. And then come back over, drop in deeper. And let's take it back to the front. Let's readjust, spread our toes, and see, can you come a little deeper? Can you maybe rest your heavy head in your hands? Or some of you can come right down. Wherever you're at, can you breathe? And then come back up. Sit up really tall. Let's not bring our legs in yet. Let's take our fingers behind us, turn them backwards, roll those shoulders back. Now push down with fingertips and lift up the torso. And then in that sense of lifting, spread your toes and try to drop your pelvis down. So we can create these different dynamics in the body. And let that go. And slowly and easily bring those feet back in. I'm going to turn sideways again and take it immediately to boat pose. Why? Because we want to go in and strengthen what we just opened up. Very positive, very powerful way to do a yoga practice. And drop forward, let your head go. Okay, let's widen up our feet quite a bit. And then windshield wipers. Oh yeah. It was so wonderful to hear you all talking about sewing, creating your clothing. I totally relate to that. And so now just notice if your hips are more equal, if they feel a little happier, okay? And then bring your feet back in, adjust yourself, hands on your knees, tuck your chin, and we're gonna roll ourselves down to our backs. Oh, that feels good. Once down, have your knees bent, feet flat, feet apart, hands on your belly, close your eyes. Take an exhale, and then inhale through belly, chest, and throat. Exhale, let it go. Again, inhale, belly, chest, and throat. Really feel the expansion. And as you exhale, just let it go. Notice how the body responds. Do 3 more times on your own. Notice how the inhale tips the pelvis and the exhale drops it back. And as you're doing this, not just the pelvis, but notice how the chest opens, the front of the shoulders. You should be coming into your last one. And just release. So important. I do these a few times a day just to keep me focused and centered. And let's go ahead and bring our knees in. And let's just start by rocking side to side. So rocking side to side, head is following the knees. Now, keep rocking side to side, head is opposite. So as the knees go to the left, the head stays to the right, and then the other way. A little harder to do. Don't go too fast. And I just want you to feel this because this takes you right into the center of your abdominal muscles. Very important. And one more set. A little harder to do. And then come back to center and put your feet flat. Okay, so we're getting ready to do some bridge poses. And we're going to come up and down 3 times to begin with. So adjust your arms, adjust your feet. And here we go. Inhale up, hold your breath. Exhale down. I want you to notice your hips. They should come up equally. Again, inhale up, don't come up too fast. Hold your breath. Exhale down. Last time like this. Inhale up. Now this time breathing, maybe clasp your hands underneath or just really roll those shoulders under more. And then see if you can push into your heels and lift all your toes off the mat. So heels and feet are on the mat, but just your toes are lifted. And try to come up even higher. Hello, butt muscles, gluteus max. And come back down. Oh. And let's hug in. And you can rock, or I like to do little circles with my knees. Let that neck relax. Sometimes we overuse the neck for those. Other direction. Okay, now widen up your feet as wide as the mat, or even more for some of you, and slightly turn out. And when I say for some of you, those of you with really long legs need a wider base, okay? Now this time, every time we come up into bridge, our arms are going to come overhead, okay? Here we go. Inhale up, exhale down. Do it slow and hold your breath at the top. Inhale up, exhale down. Let's do 2 more times. Try to be really equal. Now, last time, stay up. Let those arms be really wide and just resting on the floor behind you. Then push through those heels again. And if you're able to, lift all your toes again, spread them, breathing. So you're going to feel this not only in your butt muscles, but also the sides of the hips. And come back down. Oh, yeah. And let's bring those knees in tightly if you can, or you can keep them wide. It's up to you. Lift your head, tuck your chin. Some of you can even hug your knees tightly, Konasana. And come back down. Ah, okay. Now listen to my instrucciones because this one's the most challenging, okay? We're going to bring our feet in closer to our butt and this time closer together. I only have maybe 3 or 4 inches between my feet. Okay, adjust your arms. Come up to bridge pose. Get those arms focused, maybe under you, maybe clasping, and then lift your right leg straight up. Lift it up. Keep the chin tucking, breathing here. Then slowly bend that right knee and bring the leg down. Stay up in your bridge. Adjust your arms. Other side. We know these are kickers. These actually work your low abdominal muscles. Breathing. And slowly coming down. All the way down. Hug in again, either with knees apart or together. Lift your chest and head, tuck your chin, hug in deeply, and release. Let's drop our legs all the way down. Oh, that feels good. Take our arms all the way up behind you, and then stretch just your right arm and your right leg. Really stretch it. And then your left arm and your left leg, really stretch. Let's do one more time. Okay. And then bend your knees, feet flat, look for your strap or elastic, whatever it is you're using. And we're going to put it around both feet. But we're going to have our feet about maybe 6 inches apart, maybe even 8 inches apart. Okay. And then push the legs straight up towards the ceiling. So remember, don't hurt your low back. If your low back is bothering you, keep the knees just slightly bent. You decide how much you're choking up on the strap or elastic, because I want you to turn the palms towards your face and bend your elbows down towards the sides of your body. And then push your heels up and spread your toes. Finally, tuck your chin. Make sure the backs of your shoulders are down. This is bone density work. Very powerful. Now, keeping that intensity with the arms, slowly bend your knees in towards your chest. Feet bottoms are still at the ceiling. And then push straight up. And let's do that again. Don't let your elbows travel. Elbows are pulling down by your sides. Bend your knees deeply. If you need to see me, have a peek. And push straight up. 2 more times. Remember, you could go to a sporting store and get some elastics if you want, and push straight up. And we have 1 more time. Hello, hip bone density. Push straight up. Oh. Then keep just the right foot in that strap and drop your left leg. You could drop it all the way down like I am, or you can keep the knee bent. So see what feels best. Now hold the strap with both hands, and you know where we're going. Supta Pada Gustasana series. Try to press that foot bottom straight up, spread your toes, shoulders down, breathe here. And then if you're able to, next couple exhales, bring that straight leg in towards your face. Stay with it. Then hold the straps just in the right hand, and let's open up that leg to the right. You know the drill. Don't let the left hip lift. Turn your head to the left. So you might need to check in with the left hip with your left fingers and make sure you're pulling it down. Last couple breaths here. Push the foot bottom towards that side wall. Oh, yeah. And then bring that leg straight up. Good morning, legs, right? Good morning. Opposite hand now. Here we go. Bring that whole leg and hip over the body, but try not to lift your right shoulder off the mat. Turn your head to the right. Use your breath. So what we're doing here is we're squeezing and rotating the belly. Push that foot bottom towards the side wall. And come back to center. Oh my gosh. Woohoo. Let's go ahead and choke up higher on that strap. We're going to go fast for this one. Take a deep inhale. Blow out hard. Lift your chest, your head, tuck your chin. Sips of breath here. Sips of breath. Bringing forehead towards your knee. And release down. Wiggle fingers. Switch legs. Switch legs in the strap, but take your time. No rush. Adjust your right leg down. Just take your time. So I've kind of let go of the intensity of the elastic. Then let's start to get in place. So you're going to hold on to that strap, palms facing your face. Start to reach that leg up to the ceiling. Spread your toes. Hello. So amazing for the back of your leg. See if you can create a little more intensity. Few breaths here, bringing that straight leg towards your face. Remember, if you feel like you're losing it, always take an exhale and always go deeper into the belly. Then hold the strap just in your left hand, right arm out to the side. And let's open up. Open the leg out to the left. Turn your head to the right. So really, it's very rare that anybody will get that left leg all the way down to the floor. It's really almost impossible. That shouldn't be your goal. Your goal is to feel the stretch in the inner thigh, not let the right hip lift. So check in there. Work into your belly muscles. Push that foot bottom towards the side wall. And come back up. Oh yeah. Let's switch hands. And then let's take the journey across the body. So to do this, you have to pull the belly muscles in. It's like you're wringing out a towel. And you're really rotating at the belly. Let your head rest to the left. Try to keep that left chest way open. Now, push your foot bottom towards that side wall. You should feel it right up the side of the hip. You might have little clicks as your spine gets an adjustment. And come back to center. Oh my God, we're not quite done here. Choke up, take a deep inhale, blow out hard. Chin tucks. Try to forehead towards the knee. Sips of breath here, little sips of breath. And release down. Release that strap. Let's just drop that strap. Oh my God. Let's pick up the legs and the arms and do some bicycling or just some crazy movement just to release elbows and wrists and knees and ankles. Oh yeah. And then feet come flat. Feet come flat, wide apart, hands on belly, eyes closed. Take 3 nice deep breaths again. Why? Because we want to reset the body. We want to come back to tasting the shifts that are going on, the changes. We've almost completed a January of 2022. This year's going fast. We want to experience it in hopefully a good way. Let's widen up the legs super wide, arms out to the side, windshield wipers. Take your time. Check in with that outer hip every time you drop the knee inward. Oh, yeah. Then come back to center, feet come in, hands come behind your head. You're right. Yogi sit-ups are on their way. Yogi abs, I should say. Go ahead and pick up your head just a few inches and stretch the back of the neck. That means you're letting your head be super heavy and you're using your arms to stretch the back of the neck. This is a great thing for all of us. And then put your head back down and see if you can open your elbows as best as you can, as wide as you can. Okay, we're going to start with our feet flat on the mat. Take an inhale. Exhale, lift your chest and then your head. Inhale down. We're going slow. Exhale up. Inhale down. That full continue. That full exhale, you should feel the belly muscles pulling in. Those who want to go deeper, lift your feet off the mat. And we have about 8 more here. So those of you who want ultimate, lift your legs straight up. But you're not changing anything else. That means every time you lift your head, your chest lifted first. That will save your neck. That will also take you more fully into your belly muscles. We have 4 more. You could always stop, right? That's the really cool thing about doing Zoom yoga is you can stop, you can modify, you can shift things all you want and not worry about your neighbor, right? Which we shouldn't anyway, but it happens. Okay, head down. Now, pull your left knee in towards your left chest and start to lower your right leg to where it's just hovering off the mat. If that's too intense, just put it down. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale, right elbow, left knee. Tuck your chin. Inhale, come back. Again, exhale, come in. Inhale, back. Yogi abs, these are the Himalayan fire exercises. Oh my God, we all need this for our digestion right now. We've got 3 more. I can feel it, definitely. Now, as you approach the 3rd one, give it all you got because we're just staying there. Chin is tucked, staying there, staying with it, sip the breath. Come back. Bring both knees into your chest and just let them kind of hang out there. And try to really drop your elbows to the floor. Continuing to slightly traction your back of your neck. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, here we go. We're gonna pull the right knee in and hover the left leg or drop it all the way down. Here we go. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale back. 7 more. Experiencing every move and being so grateful to show up. Taking a break if you want. But trying to stay with breath. 3 more. These we don't do enough of. They're so important. Now, hold there. Chin is tucked deeply. Holding there. Stay with me. sips of breath. Come back. Both knees in. Release your head. Just take your arms down by your sides or out to the side. And then just lightly kick your legs, your lower legs. Just kind of kick them up to the ceiling, kind of like a baby. It's a great feeling. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Are we done yet? No. So now, if you want, put a block between your knees. Otherwise, just kind of try to keep them together, arms out to the side, shoulder height. Inhale. Exhale, knees down to your left, head to the right. Remember, you can open out your knees if you need to. Inhale, back to center. Exhale to the right, head to the left. You're using your navel center. Inhale up to center. Let's go again to the left. It's a long exhale. Inhale up to center. Exhale to the right. Inhale to center. Now, the next exhale, we come down to the left and we hold there. Try to have your head opposite. Some of you can straighten one or two legs and hold on to those toes. Try to use the exhale to pull the navel center in deeper. Try to relax your head to the right. That's going to really help your neck and your upper chest. This is definitely one of those purification poses. Release, come up to center. Oh, let's just take a moment. We don't want to hurt ourselves. Other side. So you know what I'm talking about here is you bring your knees to the right. If there's any back issues, open your knees up or use the block, please. Head to the left. Trying to keep the left shoulder down. That's hard to do. Maybe straighten one or two legs. Hold the toes with your right hand. You don't have to. That's actually the most advanced of this pose. Nice deep breaths here. Can you relax your face while the rest of your body is in a very deep pose? And release and come back to center. Oh my gosh. And let's bicycle. So when we enter that place, that belly center, that place of fire, that place of lustrous gemstones, the golden place, all the different terms that are used, right? When we enter that place, we get more powerful inside. There's a sense of empowerment. So you're just bicycling right now, nice and easy, really easy. When we get empowerment from the inside like that, we're more clear, we're more focused, and feet come flat. Hands on belly. Close your eyes. Can you come back to those 3 slow, deep breaths? So the goal of resilience, the goal of trauma sensitivity is to be able to come back more quickly, right? Certainly we want to allow ourselves to experience all the emotion, everything that's going on, but then we want to come back more quickly. And let's roll to the right and push ourselves up to sitting. Oh my God. Let's sit cross-legged for a moment. If you need to, you can not have your legs cross-legged. So see what feels good. Okay. And let's take a mudra. Palms face you. Fingers are spread. Cross one wrist over the other and hook your thumbs. Garuda. Do you remember this wonderful mudra? Garuda is the eagle, the celestial eagle that crosses the sky, that remembers to bring the sacred essence every morning back along the earth. That's why I go outside before dawn and I experience that dawning of a new day, to really try to bring that into my own center. And a wonderful poem, or a little short saying actually from Rumi, If you only say one prayer in a day, make it thank you. And let's release. Let's come to all fours because we are not done, ladies. Oh, yeah. All fours, a powerful place to be. And let's take some cat cows. So no matter where you are on this earth right now, you're checking into this classroom with me. We're all together. We're together in mind and spirit. We're focusing together on taking care of ourselves in order to help take care of the world. That's how it works. One more set here. Then curl toes under. Exhale, downward facing dog. Find the full pose. Inhale, back down to knees. Exhale, downward facing dog. You have opportunities here. Inhale, back down to earth. One more. Exhale. Now stay in your pose and walk your dog. Hello, calf muscles. Oh, yeah. Let those shoulders feel strong and broad. Now, listen to my instructions. Inhale to plank. Plank pose. Hold there and breathe. You know your modification. Knees could come down. One more nice deep breath. Bring your knees down. Come up onto fingertips and pull back to an extended child pose. Really stretch those elbows, stretch through the armpits. I like to walk my fingers slightly off the sides of the mat to really get into the sides, the lat muscles. Then activate your belly and inhale right up to knee pose. Exhale to all fours. Next exhale, downward facing dog. Find the full pose. You can take a few breaths here. And then here we go. Inhale to plank. Exhale, hold. Inhale again. Exhale, knees, drop toes, up on fingertips, all the way back. Extended child pose, one deep breath. Release that breath. Then inhale up to knee stand, Naga, the snake goddess. Exhale, all fours. We have one more set like that. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Find your pose. Two more breaths. Taste this pose. We've worked towards it today. And then here we go. Inhale, plank. Stay there, exhale. Inhale again. Exhale, knees come up onto fingertips. Keep exhaling, pull back. Breathe here. And come up to all fours. Woohoo! Guess where we're heading? You're all going, where? Where? Okay. Thread the needle. Okay. So if you need a block for your shoulder or your blanket, have it ready. We're going to start with our left arm today. Okay. Here we go. Inhale, lift. Exhale, glide it through behind the right arm. Inhale, come right back up. If you need to look and watch me do it, please do. Exhale, come back in. Inhale up. And here comes our last time. Exhale, try to drop right onto the side edge of the shoulder and arm. Chin is tucked, side of head is down. Hold and breathe. Those who want to, lift your arm straight up. Another option is arm ahead of your head, crawling along towards the upper part of that mat. Another option is arm behind you along the low back. What do you want, right? Stay with it. Some of you will lift the left or the right knee. Some of you will lift the right leg. Spread the toes. So instead of using your jaw for this pose, you're pulling the belly in. Taking some nice deep breaths here. And then come out step by step, all the way out, experiencing an amazing pose, right back to all fours. Take 3 cat-cows. That exhale rounds in. The inhale reaches. Again, exhale, round in. Inhale, reach. One more time. Okay, we're getting ready for thread the needle other side. Right arm, here we go. Inhale. Exhale, take it through. It's a long exhale. Inhale back. Exhale, take it through. We have one more. These are so yummy, delicious, but you have to be able to rest onto that right shoulder and arm. So use a blanket if you need to, please. Chin stays tucked. Now you decide where that left arm is going, okay? I like to actually explore all of them. I've been doing this pose a lot lately to really focus on not overly using my jaw, because I've noticed that in my stress levels, I'm using my jaw too much. And maybe you're going to lift your left knee, maybe not. Maybe the left leg, maybe not. Keep the chin tucked. You got to go into the belly. Go in deep. Mary was talking about her grandchildren. The same here. I think about my grandkids. I want the world to be more at peace for them. And then come back one step at a time, all the way out and back to center. Woo! Take a moment here. Take 2 or 3 cat-cows. That is such a powerful pose because it rotates your whole torso. Okay, so we are getting ready for pigeon pose, okay? We're going to go from a downward facing dog to a pigeon with the right leg. That means you might want to have your blanket nearby, or you might say, you know, I can't do pigeon pose yet on the mat. So then you would take your chair, and I'm just taking a moment to show you because we have some new people in this class. You're going to take your chair and make sure the legs are on the mat, and then look at how I do a downward dog with the chair. I lift my leg, and then, and I have to walk in a little, I do my pigeon on the chair, okay? So if you think you need that, please be ready for that. Everybody else, come to all fours. Curl toes under. And exhale into downward facing dog. Don't make it so stiff. Enjoy it. Feet should be closer together. Lift your right leg. Bend your knee and even open the hip. Just let the head go here. And now we're getting ready for that pigeon. We're going to take that right bent knee forward and down. Here's the tricky part, right? If you need the blanket, please put it under the right hip. You can adjust yourself. You're trying to have the front of your hips equally moving down towards the mat. If you see me, you'll see I'm up on my fingertips. If you're using the chair, your arms are on the chair, really helping you. Nice deep breaths here. If you want to go deeper, take it forward and down. Oh my God. We haven't done this pose in a while. It's such a powerful pose for actually releasing deeply held emotions. So you want to breathe into the back of your heart. If you're using the chair, you're leaning your chest and forehead to the back of the chair. Try to stay another couple breaths. And then take and press your hands back, curl your back toes under, and take yourself back in the downward dog with that right leg straight up, and then put it down. Not quite done here. Let's do a plank pose. Or if you're using the chair, you're just getting ready for the other side. Now everybody back to downward dog. Make your adjustments. Lift your left leg straight up and back. And if you want to, bend the knee and open the hip. Oh, that feels so good. Let your head go. Now lead with that left bent knee. Take it forward and down. Oh, adjust your foot. Make sure this is comfortable. If you feel a twist in your low back, you're probably not in it correctly. You want to make sure you've got a blanket then under your left hip if that's going on. Use your breath. Try to settle, right? And then if you want to, settle deeper, coming forward and down, settling into it. So many people make the mistake of staying really tense in their shoulders and in their face. Try to relax. The intensity is all around that hip and butt muscles. Okay, from here, adjust those hands, curl back toes under, lift back up to downward dog with that left leg straight back. Put it down. And then everybody listen to my instructions. Bend your knees deeply. Walk your hands back to your feet. One hand each knee. And come all the way up to standing. Just stand there towards the back of your mat. Palms face forward. Just take a moment here. Very, very powerful set of poses today. And then let that go and move around a little bit. Yeah, there you all are. Move around a little bit. Oh, yeah. I actually have the heater on and I'm going to turn it off. I got really warmed up. There we go. Whew. All right. So we have some sets of, we're doing really good on time. We have some sets of standing poses we're going to get to, but I want you to first release those shoulders. Okay, we did a lot of chest opening and a lot of work in the deep belly. So I'm sure you can feel that. All right. And then let's come up to the fronts of our mats and I'm going to turn sideways. Okay, fronts of mats. Palms together. Take an inhale and lift up so tall. And as you exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come part way up. Exhale, release. Next inhale, come all the way up, stretch up, and then hands to heart. From here, take your right leg back. You're going to decide how far back to go, but if you see me, I'm attempting to bend my left knee, and so I need my back leg back a little more. My back heel is lifted. For some people, that feels too unstable. If that's the case, foot flat, okay? So those are your modifications, and I'm trying to have a torso that's upright, hands to hips. Take a moment here. And then you can keep your hands here, or if it feels good, arms up and wide. Now, take an inhale. Exhale, bend that back knee and drop it towards the floor. Inhale, straight up. Again, exhale. Inhale. We're saying hello, warrior, right? One more. And back up. Then take your right arm forward, down, and back. Adjust the back foot and find your warrior two. Try to sink into it. And then take it reverse. Adjust it as you want. And then we're going to take it back to warrior two. Take your palms to face your forward and bring yourself into that windmill, which is a form of warrior two. opening the chest. And come back up. Straighten that front leg. These are trickier. Take it to triangle. It could be a tiny triangle, and I'm showing that. Or you could come down deeper and deeper, as long as you maintain the lengthening of the torso. And come back up. Bend that front knee. We're not done here. Side angle pose. Arm could be straight up. But at this point, most of you will want it over the side of your head. And you could also take a bind if you want. Now listen to my instructions. Look down towards that front leg. Drop your right arm. Take it back behind warrior two. And we're going to step forward. That step forward is very powerful. So take your time with it. Palms together. We worked very diligently into the very core fire of our bodies. And so now these poses help us to distribute that through the body. And so you're probably feeling that right now. Here we go. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come partway up, stretch. Exhale, release. And then next inhale, come all the way up and hands to heart. That feels so good just to do that, right? And then take your hands to your hips, and we're going to take a step back with the left leg. It'll feel more stable if the legs stay wide apart, okay? And adjust your back foot to what you need. If you look at me, you'll see I'm almost at a right angle here with my front. Okay, if it feels good, arms up. And here we go. Exhale, drop the left knee. Inhale, straight up. 2 more times. Good morning, right? Woohoo. Last one. We always try to do those so fast to get it out of the way. Let's take the left arm forward, down, back. Adjust the back foot longer and come into your warrior two, your Virabhadra. Yes. Try to let those shoulders drop, but strong arms. And then let's take it to reverse. Modify or advance as you want. Take it back to that warrior two. Turn your palms to face forward and windmill. Nice deep breaths here. You're wanting to really open the chest here. It feels so good. And come back up. Woohoo! Straighten that front leg. Make sure it feels okay. Sometimes we have to shorten our stance. And then glide and find Trikonasana. I always take my time. I could certainly go fast, but I don't want to lose that inner stability. So I want to take my time. Many of you are going to notice that you're going deeper than you usually do because of what we did to prepare for these. And then come back up. Bend that front knee, side angle pose. Take it to where you feel powerful, where you feel stable, focused. Turn your head to look down. Drop that front arm forward, down, back to warrior two. And then the hardest part, step back forward. Woohoo! Palms together. Nice deep breaths here. Okay, from here, I want you to just take a moment and have a look at me, okay? So I'm gonna take my block, you don't have to, or you could have a chair, and I'm gonna put it in front of me, okay? But I'm gonna come a bit away from it, okay? I always have to think about this. In a moment, I'm going to have you moving into this Israeli pose, this holy fig tree, which you all kind of know, this one. But then I'm going to have you tip it, tip it, tip it, and try to hold the block or the chair. Now, you might say, I don't have a block or a chair and I don't want to use one. Then fingertips to the mat, okay? So get ready, get whatever you think you're going to need, and come to about the center or a little further back of your mat. Okay. I'm going to do this facing sideways to you in case you have to have a peek. Okay, so we're going to toe touch back with our right toes. Not too far back. You want to stay nice and tall. Left arm straight up, right arm out. So here's our holy fig tree, right? Now we're going to try to take it deeper, lift the back leg and hold there and breathe. So there's your butt muscles, very powerful. Now, can you keep all of that and just hinge at the hip joint and start to go deeper and deeper, and maybe grab that block, or maybe fingertips to the mat or a chair. Now, don't let your right hip open way out. Try to drop it back in a little. Breathe here. And then we're going to try to come back up. Are we crazy? Yes, we are crazy. And I lost it. And back to center. Let's see what the other side looks like. Okay, so toe touch back, left toes. Right arm straight up along the side, left arm out, shoulder height. Okay, holy fig tree, lift the left leg a little bit off the mat because you're working your butt muscle. You should feel your butt muscle. Then if you want to go deeper, start to hinge right at the right hip joint, little bits at a time. Nothing else folds in. Everything is straight. And you could stop at touching the chair or the block or fingertips to the mat. Hold there and breathe. Looking down, try to drop your left hip a tiny bit to adjust your sacrum. Now the hard part, try to come back up, and back to center. Nice deep breaths. Let's move just a little bit, just really easy, okay? Because we are going to try to go back again and do the other side. I'm bringing my block in a little closer, okay? Okay, hands on hips, toe touch right toes back, left arm straight up, right arm out. Here's your pose. This is the pose. Stay in that slight back bend and lift the right leg behind you, just a little bit. You could stay there or start to tip. If you've got the chair or the block, find it with the left arm and keep everything else really tight and strong. Try to adjust your right hip so it's not rotating way open. Breathing here. Woohoo, it's almost harder for me to use the block. I use the floor, but I'm just used to that. And then come back up, and down. Wow. We are actually controlling and moving the body through the deepest core muscles, which we should be doing all the time, but we don't. In our society, we don't. That's why we have so many back issues. Okay, hands on hips, toe touch behind. Let me think. Yeah, right arm straight up, left arm out. Okay, here's our pose. You could stay there. This is a happy pose. Or lift the leg up behind you. You could stay there. This is a sweet pose. Or start to take it to that pose, that holy fig tree in a storm, right? Bending over, but so strong. Breathing here. I love figs. Oh my God. Try to adjust those hips a little. And then here we go. Come up carefully. Come up slowly. And back to heart. Back to heart. I'm going to just stand and face all of you, not both of you, but all of you. And I'm going to take Garuda Mudra again. The flight of the eagle. Every morning, that early morning for me, welcoming the dawn is so sweet and special. And the rest of my day might be like just a pile of craziness, but to come back to that. It might, for you, might be the sunset, right? Whatever it is, make it something with nature. And then let go. I'm going to check my time. Oh yeah. And roll those shoulders back. Okay, we are ready. Are we? For tree pose. We are ready for tree pose. We have done so much with this body today. I feel it. Okay, where are you going to put your tree? Is your tree going to grow off of your wooden or harder floor or on your mat? Are you going to be at a wall or a chair? We have so many options, right? But your left leg is going to be your standing leg. So we've also done a lot of awareness of our toes today. So look down at them and spread them and have that nice arch. And then whenever you're ready, find your tree. What does your tree look like today? I am certainly feeling the intensity of a 90-minute class, right? So move into it with that very inner strength, that very inner resilience. Find your drishti. You decide where you want your arms. That leg holding you up should feel very strong. It's okay if you're wobbling, go in deeper. And then come back out. Stand for a moment. Irrigate the body with breath. Okay, other side. Find the other side. If you did nothing else this week in the format of yoga, it might be greeting the sun or saying good night to the sun and maybe a tree pose, right? These are really great practices. Beautiful. It's so beautiful to see you lifting your arms. Yeah. Lifting up the torso. Going in deeper for the longer exhale. That's what revives us. And release. Standing in Garuda Mudra. Garuda, the sacred eagle. And then let's just move around again. Okay, before we come down onto the mats, we're going to find a really wide pose. Okay, so I'm about as wide as my mat. You could be wider. Some of you have taken to having two mats and crossing them. They're really great. I love it. And then go ahead and find a little bit of depth here, hands on hips, and let's circle the hips. So we did so much today, shoulders, core support, right? Hips. So now let's just move into what the hips should be able to do, right? This nice rotation. Doing your best, even wider, and then other direction. Perhaps take a nap today, but make it more of a yoga nidra, a sweet relaxation that takes you into awareness of the body and also deep relaxation, and come back up. Okay, we're coming down to the mat. How are you going to do it? My Friday class is in person now at Sun City, and we're all trying to come back to that. Oh yeah, how do I get down to the mat without plunking, right? You might want to use a block or your chair or cross your legs, but try not to plunk at that very last place. I plunked, by the way. Okay, feet really wide, true confessions. And then let's go ahead and windshield wipe. Oh yeah. Boy, I heard of so many passings of people this week. A teacher of mine from long ago, Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese monk, he passed. He was 95, 96, such a beautiful man. And then Shraddha, who owns 7 centers up in Sedona, such an amazing yogi in Ayurveda, she passed. And 2 other friends. This is just a time when things happen like that, right? And it happens every day, but maybe I notice it more because I'm getting older. 1 hand each knee, tuck your chin. Let's come down. Oh, doesn't that feel good? You're like, do I have to do anything else? We're going to do a happy baby pose. You take it wherever you want it. You can take it into a moving pose or static. Just checking in. My hammies feel nice and stretched after what we've done today. And then release that. So if you have another pose you would like to do before final relaxation, please do. If you'd like to follow me in using a rolled blanket, and this is the roll I'm going to use, but if it's too much for your chest and shoulders, get a smaller roll. I'm going to use a bit of a half a block for my head, and then look at how I put it right under, like where my bra strap would be. Okay, so it's not lower than that, and it's not higher than that. I lengthen my neck. You could have your legs wide, and then you just let your arms relax. So this is a wonderful way to get more breath into the front of the chest. Or if you wanted to do something else, like a shoulder stand, a headstand, a wheel pose, whatever it is, find it for you. You could also have like a block under your sacrum. We're going to take about 12 deep breaths in this pose, or whatever pose you've chosen. And then after that, you can decide to stay there for a short Shavasana, or to come out of whatever you're in and drop down. Try to really, wherever you're at, find the power of it, and then find the softness of it. It's kind of like the yin and yang. There's 2 sides, there's 2 ways, but they actually meet in the center. The softness of it and the firmness of it. Find the softness of your pose, even if it's just relaxing the jaw. That would be your softness. And the firmness might be where you have to hold yourself there, but come back to the softness. We're about at those 12 breaths, so you can come out if you want, or you can continue to stay in. If you're coming out, you roll carefully, you release whatever it was you were using, and then come all the way back down to your Shavasana. I'm going to sit upright, cross-legged, just so I can see in the screen. But close your eyes. Let fully go now. Just let go. Let the magic of connecting body, mind, and spirit together. Let the magic occur. And take these words in. Take these words in. Hello, sun in my face. Hello, you who made the morning and spread it over the fields. Watch now how I start the day in happiness, in kindness. One of my favorite poets, Mary Oliver. Hello, sun in my face. Hello, you who made the morning and spread it over the fields. Watch now how I start the day in happiness, in kindness. So start to come out. Start to come out easily, knowing you have a full, wonderful day ahead of you. Make it the best, whatever that is. The best is actually just inside of us. Let that be your awareness today. Come up to sitting. Find your Garuda Mudra. Breathe into that welcoming of a new day. And take that sense of kindness, take that sense of a smile out today to a stranger, right? Somebody in the distance, somebody in another car at a stop sign. Just let it happen. Let it happen, one smile at a time. And we'll release and take palms together. And we'll take the sound of an Om silently inside of us. Taking an exhale, inhale, and a silent Om. Namaste, namaste to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for showing up. I think that everything